The first memorials to the victims of the September 11 attacks in 2001 began to take shape online, as hundreds of webmasters posted their own thoughts, links to the Red Cross and other rescue agencies, photos, and eyewitness accounts. Numerous online September 11 memorials began appearing a few hours after the attacks, although many of these memorials were only temporary. Around the world, U.S. embassies and consulates became makeshift memorials as people came out to pay their respects. The Tribute in Light was the first major physical memorial at the World Trade Center site, a permanent memorial and museum. The National September 11 Memorial and Museum at the World Trade Center were built as part of the design for overall site redevelopment. The memorial consists of two massive pools set within the original footprints of the Twin Towers, with 30-foot (9.1-meter) waterfalls cascading down their sides. The names of the victims of the attacks are inscribed around the edges of the waterfalls. Other permanent memorials are being constructed around the world. One of the places that saw many memorials and candlelight vigils was Pier A in Hoboken, New Jersey. There was also a memorial service on March 11, 2002, at dusk on Pier A when the Tribute in Light first turned on, marking the half-year anniversary of the terrorist attack. A permanent September 11 memorial for Hoboken, called Hoboken Island, was chosen in September 2004. List. Temporary memorials. Soon after the attacks, temporary memorials were set up in New York and elsewhere. On October 4, Reverend Brian Jordan, a Franciscan priest, blessed the World Trade Center cross, two broken beams at the crash site which had formed a cross, and then had been welded together by iron workers. On October 13, the North Charleston Coliseum raised a special banner featuring the retired number of Mark Davis, who was on United Airlines Flight 175. Davis had played for the ECHL's South Carolina Stingrays, and his retired number hangs in a special corner, independently from the Stingrays' retired numbers, number 14, number 24, and awards banners. 1997 and 2001 Kelly Cup Championships, with the years he played for the team. 1994 to 96. The date of his death, September 11, 2001, and an American flag. Also on October 13, the September 11 Photo Project was founded. The project was a not-for-profit community-based photo exhibit in response to the September 11 attacks and their aftermath. It toured 7 cities over 2 years, collected photographs from more than 700 participants, and had over 300,000 visitors over its run. The project provided a venue for the display of photographs accompanied by captions by anyone who wished to participate. The exhibit aimed to preserve a record of the spontaneous outdoor shrines that were being swept away by rain or wind collected by the city for historical preservation. The project was also made into a book titled The September 11 Photo Project in May 2002. It has sold over 60,000 copies to date. On March 11, 2002, the damaged sculpture, the Sphere, formerly displayed in the World Trade Center, was dedicated by the city as a temporary memorial in Battery Park City. In other countries According to Radio Farda's website, when the attacks news was released, some Iranian citizens gathered in front of the Embassy of Switzerland in Tehran, which serves as the protecting power of the United States in Iran. U.S. Interests Protecting Office in Iran, to express their sympathy, and some of them lit candles as a symbol of mourning. This piece of news at Radio Farda's website also states that in 2011, On the anniversary of the attacks, United States Department of State published a post at its blog, in which the department thanked Iranian people for their sympathy and stated that they would never forget Iranian people's kindness on those harsh days. After the attacks, both the president and the supreme leader of Iran condemned the attacks. BBC and Time magazine published reports on holding candlelit vigils for the victims by Iranian citizens at their websites. Permanent memorials equals structures equals Flight 93 National Memorial, Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Pentagon Memorial, the Pentagon, Arlington County, Virginia. Tribute in Light, World Trade Center Site. Temporary, periodic, Fulton County 9/11 Memorial. Wars in Ohio, 9/11 Memorial. Wesley Boland Memorial Plaza, Phoenix, Arizona. Postcards, Staten Island, New York. Memorial, Eisenhower Park, East Meadow, New York. Rockland County September 11th Memorial, Haverstraw, New York. Sussex County September 11th Memorial, located on the grounds of Sussex County Community College in Newton, New Jersey, featuring a steel I-beam from the World Trade Center. Los Angeles Fire Department Academy has a memorial at the front entrance of its complex. It is an upright trident steel from the WTC. Honolulu September 11th Memorial, dedicated November 11, 2001. A monument bearing an eternal flame, placed on top, and a Twin Towers likeness, etched in front. Located outside Honolulu Hale, Honolulu Municipal Building, in downtown Honolulu, Hawaii. Garden of Reflection, Yardley, Pennsylvania. Beverly Hills 9/11 Memorial Garden, Beverly Hills, California. Seaford 9/11 Memorial, Seaford, New York. Huntington Heckscher Park 9/11 Memorial, Huntington, New York. Freedom Plaza, Metuchen, New Jersey. Semper Memento, Heisler Park, Laguna Beach, California. Project 9/11 Indianapolis, Indianapolis, Indiana. September 11th Memorial Park, Westfield, New Jersey. 9/11 Memorial Fairview, New Jersey. To the Struggle Against World Terrorism, Bayonne, New Jersey. Samuel Otis Memorial, Peekskill, New York. 9/11 Flight Crew Memorial, Grapevine, Texas. September 11th Memorial, Vista Verde Cemetery, Rio Rancho, New Mexico. September 11th Memorial, Patriots Park, Venice, Florida. 9/11 Memorial, Naperville, Illinois. Located on the city's Riverwalk between the DuPage River and the city's municipal center. It includes 140 faces made by local schoolchildren to symbolize the victims of the attacks. A sculpture made from 100 pounds of debris from the Pentagon. Granite from the region in Pennsylvania where United 93 crashed. A steel beam from the World Trade Center. And an eternal flame. College of DuPage 9/11 Memorial, located in the lobby of the college's Homeland Security Education Center. It features several exhibits about the attacks, and at the center is a steel beam from the World Trade Center. Heroes Memorial, University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown, Richland Township, Pennsylvania. Appleton 9/11 Memorial, Appleton, Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. The Texas State Cemetery has a memorial to the September 11th victims. It is composed to symbolize the damaged Twin Towers, made with two twisted iron girders that had been part of the WTC and salvaged from the ground zero wreckage. The city of Coral Springs, Florida has its own memorial dedicated to the victims of the attacks. It is located outside the Northwest Regional Library, the city's only public library. September 11th Memorial Plaza, California. Exposition, Sacramento, California includes an I-beam extracted from Ground Zero. It is open to the public during all Cal Expo events including the California State Fair and on 9/11. Hermosa Beach 9/11 Memorial. Hermosa Beach, California. Manhattan Beach 9/11 Memorial. Manhattan Beach, California. The Garden of Reflection 9/11 Memorial is located in Memorial Park in Lower Makefield Township, Pennsylvania. Designed by Yardley architect Lee Balashkik. It is intended to symbolize light that follows darkness. Parker 11 September 2001. A large public park in Bologna, Italy. 9/11 Memorial in the Aberdeen, Ohio green space along the Ohio River. A tribute to firefighters, in the Firefighters Reserve in Christchurch, New Zealand was unveiled on 26 October 2002 as a memorial to the firefighters lost in the 9/11 attacks, as well as to firefighters worldwide who have died in the line of duty. At the first World Firefighters Games held after the attacks, the sculpture, created by Christchurch artist Graham Bennett, consists of 5 steel girders from the World Trade Center, gifted by the City of New York to the City of Christchurch for the purpose of this memorial. Colts Neck, New Jersey, which lost 5 members of their community, commissioned sculptor Jim Gary, a lifetime resident, to create a memorial garden featuring his central sculpture of brass, copper, and stained glass, where each victim is represented by a colorful butterfly among plants in a water garden. The contemplative garden was dedicated at the Municipal Center of Colts Neck on November 10, 2002. Recovering Equilibrium, a Los Angeles International Airport's theme building, unveiled on September 9, 2003 and designed by B.J. Kravanek and Joel Bro. 3 of the 4 hijacked planes were originally bound for Los Angeles. The September 11th Memorial Garden in Grosvenor Square, London, United Kingdom was opened on September 11, 2003 by the Princess Royal and the then U.S. Ambassador to the UK, William Farish. The central plaque in the garden is dedicated to the 67 Britons who were killed in the attacks and is surrounded by an oak pergola and pavilion which bears a quote from Queen Elizabeth II. Grief is the price we pay for love. The garden has become the site for official commemorations of 9/11 in the UK. In July 2004, a Boston memorial to the 206 citizens of Massachusetts that died on September 11, 2001. Was dedicated at the Arlington and Newbury Street entrance to the Boston Public Garden. The Rising, dedicated in Westchester County, New York on September 11, 2006 in memory of the residents of that county killed during the 9/11 attacks. On September 11, 2006, Ocean City, Maryland erected the Ocean City Firefighters Memorial to honor local firefighters as well as firefighters who died in the September 11 attacks. In addition to a statue of a firefighter, the monument incorporates a piece of steel beam from one of the towers destroyed at the World Trade Center. The FDNY Memorial Wall, a 56-foot long, 17 meters, bronze wall of cast bas-relief bronze that honors the 343 firefighters who gave their lives in service to the public during the attacks. Commissioned by FDNY and unveiled in 2006 as a memorial to the fallen firefighters. It lists all of the fallen firefighters' names and is installed in the west wall of Engine Company 10 Ladder Company 10 on Greenwich Street, between Albany Street and Liberty Street, just across from Ground Zero, in Union City, New Jersey, which lost 4 of its residents during the attacks. The first 9/11 memorial was a sculpture placed in Doric Park, in whose courtyard citizens gathered on September 11, 2001 to view the attack's after effects. On September 11, 2007, the city dedicated its Liberty Plaza to commemorate the event. The plaza, which serves as a transit hub through which commuters pass on their way to and from Manhattan, includes 2 memorial markers. In subsequent years, citizens of neighboring towns have been honored at Liberty Plaza, including North Bergen resident David Lemaine, a Port Authority police officer who grew up in Union City and perished during the attacks. Doric Park was later rebuilt as Firefighters Memorial Park, which opened in August 2009. A new memorial to local firefighters who gave their lives in the line of duty now stands in the entrance to the park's entrance, whose popularity has attracted visitors from Manhattan and Staten Island. On November 12, 2009, a 9/11 living memorial monument was dedicated in Israel, in Jerusalem's Arazim Park, designed by Israeli artist Eliezer Weishoff. The 30-foot-high bronze sculpture is composed of a waving American flag transformed into a memorial flame, which rests upon a base of gray granite, part of which is from the original Twin Towers. The sculpture is surrounded by a circular, crater-like plaza and reflection area tiled in stone. It is currently the only monument outside of the United States which lists the names of the nearly 3,000 victims who lost their lives in the 9/11 attacks. U.S. Ambassador to Israel James Cunningham, Air Attaché Colonel Richard Burgess and U.S. Congressman Eric Paulson led a U.S. delegation attending the ceremony dedicating the monument. They were joined by Israeli cabinet ministers, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert, Israel Fire and Rescue Services Commissioner, Knesset members and families of the victims. In September 2008, a $3.5 million 9/11 memorial in the form of a glass cube was dedicated at Logan International Airport in Boston. The 2 jets that destroyed the World Trade Center had departed from Logan, and the memorial commemorates the 147 innocent victims aboard those flights. On September 11, 2009, the Defense Intelligence Agency dedicated a permanent memorial to the 7 GIA officers who died on 9/11 while working at the Pentagon. The memorial is part of the Defense Intelligence Analysis Center on Bolling Air Force Base in Washington, D.C., the largest of DIA's facilities. On July 6, 2010, the Queen Elizabeth II September 11 Garden in Hanover Square, downtown Manhattan was officially opened by Queen Elizabeth II. It commemorates the 67 British victims of the attacks. In September 2011, the firefighters from Clyde, North Carolina, unveiled a monument dedicated to the victims of the attacks. It is composed of sections of steel from the World Trade Center, with fencework designed to look like the lobbies in 1 and 2 WTC. It is located in front of the Clyde Fire Department. Empty Sky, the official New Jersey memorial to 9/11 victims, dedicated on September 11, 2011, in Liberty State Park, New Jersey. On September 11, 2011, the state of Maryland unveiled the 9/11 Memorial of Maryland at Baltimore's World Trade Center. On September 11, 2011, the King of Prussia Volunteer Fire Company dedicated the King of Prussia Volunteer Fire Company 9/11 Memorial in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. The memorial consists of 2 steel beams recovered from Ground Zero at the World Trade Center in New York City. On September 11, 2013, the city of Yuma, Arizona unveiled a memorial at Yuma Fire Station No. 1. The memorial composed a section of steel I-beam from one of the towers of the World Trade Center, and on the base holding the steel beam has 4 plaques remembering the victims of 9/11. On September 11, 2014, the city of Ybor, Florida unveiled a permanent memorial including a group of stainless steel figures and actual 9/11 debris. On September 11, 2015, a small memorial was unveiled at Edmonds, Washington Fire Station 17 as an expansion of the existing Firefighters Memorial Park. Hayward 9/11 Memorial, Hayward, California, dedicated May 30, 2016, to the first responders who died, and to the city's own fallen first responders, and the city's fallen soldiers. Huntington Beach 9/11 Memorial, Huntington Beach, California. A design plan was selected and the memorial was opened to the public on September 11, 2016. The memorial was built outside the Huntington Beach City Hall building and was dedicated on September 11, 2013. The memorial design features 2 stainless steel towers, incorporating 2 girders from the World Trade Center provided by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. The words, "We will never forget," is etched along the base of the memorial. Funding was obtained through fundraising events and donations from private citizens. In September 2015, the Plano Firefighters Association created a World Trade Center and Ground Zero Memorial at their office in downtown Plano, Texas. It features a 6,600-pound piece of debris, given by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. In 2015, the 2 intact Port Authority Trans-Hudson cars saved from the WTC station were donated, 1 each to the Trolley Museum of New York and the Shoreline Trolley Museum. These cars were saved by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey originally for use by the National September 11 Memorial Museum, but it was decided to make these cars available to other museums instead. Other designations The New Britain Museum of American Art commissioned painter Graydon Parrish to create the allegorical painting The Cycle of Terror and Tragedy in memory of New Britain native Scott O'Brien, who was killed in the attacks. The Leroy W. Homer Jr. Foundation, established in memory of United 93 First Officer Leroy Homer by his widow Melody Homer. The foundation awards up to 3 scholarships annually from applicants ages 16 to 23 residing within the United States as citizens or resident aliens. The scholarship program is funded through private donations, corporate contributions, and grant requests. The foundation also promotes awareness of aviation as a career choice, with a focus on providing information to women and minorities who are underrepresented in the U.S. pilot population. The U.S. Navy named 3 ships, New York, Arlington, and Somerset, in commemoration of the locations where the planes crashed during the attacks. New York State, Arlington, Virginia, and Somerset County, Pennsylvania. MTA Bus 2185, which was heavily damaged in the collapse of the World Trade Center, was restored and repainted, with a special American flag scheme on its sides and rear. Performances and benefits. 2001 events. Thursday, September 20th. The New York Philharmonic performed a memorial concert of Brahms' Ein Deutsches Requiem in Avery Fisher Hall. The concert was led off by the national anthem, and on the stage was a flag which appeared on stage during all Philharmonic World War II concerts. All proceeds went to disaster relief. At the request of the Philharmonic director, all applause was held, and the audience filed out in silence. Friday, September 21st. America, a tribute to heroes. A 2-hour live telethon entitled America, a tribute to heroes, with musical performances and spoken tributes by top American performers, was simultaneously broadcast on nearly every single network. Celebrities such as Al Pacino, George Clooney and Jack Nicholson manned the phones. Sunday, October the 7th. AMF National Bowl-a-thon, a national effort to raise $3 million for the Twin Towers Fund. Free Brooklyn Philharmonic concert conducted by Robert Spano at the Brooklyn Academy of Music with music from American composers, including George Gershwin, Leonard Bernstein, and Aaron Copland. The concert was rebroadcast on WNYC at 8 p.m. Monday, October 8 and 15. Haircut for Life. Roberto Novo and his stylists cut hair to benefit WTC victims at the Roberto Novo Salon, 192 8th Avenue. Tuesday, October 9. Benefit for WTC Disaster Fund. Celebration of John Lennon's birthday. The East Village anti-folk scene play John Lennon's and their own songs to raise money. Performances from The Voices, Joie DBG, Amos, Bionic Finger, Laura Faye, Barry Bliss, Tony Hightower, Linda Draper, Pat Cicerano, Latch, Testosterone Kills, Kenny Davidson, Jude Castle, Bree Sharp, Erica Smith, Fenton Lawless, Grey Revel, at the Sidewalk Cafe, 94 Avenue A. October 20th. The Concert for New York City. Volunteers for America, a benefit concert held on October 20th. In Atlanta, Georgia, and October 21st at the Smirnoff Music Center in Dallas, Texas. The concerts were held in tribute to the victims of the September 11, 2001 attacks. Styx Band members, Tommy Shaw, James Young along with others put a benefit concert together in a short period of time. The concert was in Atlanta, Georgia, October 20th and moved overnight to Dallas, Texas for the October 21st show. Proceeds from the concerts went to families of firemen killed in the 9/11 terror attacks. October 21st. United We Stand. What more can I give? The Raoul Wallenberg Award was given to New York City in 2001 for all of its citizens who searched for the missing, cared for the injured, gave comfort to loved ones of the missing or lost, and provided sustenance and encouragement to those who searched through the rubble at Ground Zero. Quote, 2002 and later events. On February 3, 2002, during the halftime show of Super Bowl 36, rock group U2 performed Where the Streets Have No Name, while the names of the victims were projected onto banners. Bono opened his jacket to reveal AU's flag pattern sewn in the inside lining. On February 23, 2003, the 45th Annual Grammy Awards were held at Madison Square Garden and paid tribute to those who died during the 9/11 attacks, to whom the ceremony was dedicated. Ceremony host Bruce Springsteen performed "The Rising" at the awards. American country singer Darryl Worley paid tribute to the people with his 2003 single, Have You Forgotten?, from the album of the same name. Newark International Airport was renamed Newark Liberty International Airport on September 11, 2002. Representatives from over 90 countries came to Battery Park City as New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg lit an eternal flame to mark the first anniversary of the attacks. Leading the dignitaries were Canadian Prime Minister Jean Chrétien, UN Secretary-General Kofi Annan, Bloomberg, and Secretary of State Colin Powell. The same day, the victims of terrorist attack on the Pentagon Memorial was dedicated at Arlington National Cemetery near the Pentagon. The memorial is dedicated to the 5 individuals at the Pentagon whose remains were never found, and the partial remains of another 25 victims are buried beneath the memorial. The names of the 184 victims of the Pentagon attack are inscribed on the memorial's side. 10th Anniversary Memorial Services. Many organizations held memorial services and events for the 10th anniversary of the attacks. The official New York City observance of the 10th anniversary of September 11 took place at the World Trade Center site at 8:40 a.m. 12:30 p.m. Sunday, September 11, 2011. Zuccotti Park, Liberty Street between Broadway and Church Streets. 4 moments of silence were observed to commemorate the times when each plane hit and each tower fell. Starting at 8:46 a.m. at sunset, the Tribute in-light dual searchlight lit the skies above New York City for the night of the 9th of November 11. Liquid Church held memorial worship services in 3 cities in New Jersey: Montclair, Morristown, and New Brunswick on the 9th of November 11 at 9:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. in each city. The church also commissioned and recorded a tribute song written by Dave Pettigrew and Frank Di Minot called "There Is Hope." Quote, in Radcliffe, Kentucky, at the Kentucky Veterans Cemetery Central, a committee of local citizens worked on a memorial effort taking only 8 weeks from the time of receipt of a piece of steel from the World Trade Center to the 10th anniversary Remembrance ceremony. In that time they developed a concept design, found companies willing to donate time, labor, technical expertise, and material, and began a fundraising effort which allowed a memorial to be erected solely on private funding. This memorial completed Phase 1 in these 8 weeks and now enters Phase 2. Hundreds of citizens assembled during the Remembrance ceremony held for the 10th anniversary on Sunday, September 11. Annual commemorations. Every year on September 11, a commemoration is held at the National September 11 Memorial. Family members read the names of victims of the attacks, as well as victims of the 1993 World Trade Center truck bombing. Elected officials and other dignitaries attend, but since the 2012 event they have not given speeches. The Tribute in Light project consists of 88 searchlights placed next to the site of the World Trade Center, created 2 vertical columns of light. The tribute began in 2001, and is now made every year on September 11. Memorial flags. The national 9/11 flag was made from a tattered remains of a 30-foot, 9.1-meter American flag found by recovery workers in the early morning of September 12, 2001. It was hanging precariously from some scaffolding at a construction site next to Ground Zero. Because of safety reasons, the flag could not be taken down until late October 2001. Charlie Vichers, a construction superintendent for the Ground Zero cleanup effort, had a crew recover the flag. It was placed in storage for 7 years. The flag has made a number of appearances across the country, including a Boston Red Sox game, a New York Giants home opener, and the USS New York commissioning ceremony. It also appeared on the CBS Evening News and on ABC World News Tonight, Persons of the Week. Quote, the flag began a national tour on Flag Day, which was on June 14, 2009. It will visit all 50 states where service heroes, veterans, and other honorees will each add stitching and material from other retired American flags in order to restore the original 13 stripes of the flag. The flag will have a permanent home at the National September 11 Memorial and Museum. The 9/11 Remembrance flag was created to be a permanent reminder of the thousands of people lost in the September 11 attacks. The purpose of keeping the memories of September 11th alive is not to be forever mourning, but for learning from the circumstances and making every effort to prevent similar tragedies in our future. The flag is also meant to be a reminder of how the people of this country came together to help each other after the attacks. The red background of the flag represents the blood shed by Americans for their country. The stars represent the lost airplanes and their passengers. The blue rectangles stand for the Twin Towers and the white pentagon represents the Pentagon building. The blue circle symbolizes the unity of this country after the attacks. The 9/11 National Remembrance flag was designed by Stephen and Joanne Galvin soon after September 11, 2001. They wanted to do something to help and were inspired by a neighbor's POW Mia flag. They wanted to sell the flag so people would remember the September 11th attacks and in order to raise money for relief efforts. The blue represents the colors of the state flags that were involved in the attacks. The black represents sorrow for innocent lives lost. The 4 stars stand for the 4 planes that crashed and the lives lost, both in the crash and in the rescue efforts, as well as the survivors. The blue star is a representation of American Airlines Flight 77 and the Pentagon. The 2 white stars represent American Airlines Flight 11 and United Airlines Flight 175, as well as the Twin Towers. The red star stands for United Flight 93 that crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and all those who sacrificed their lives to protect the innocent. The colors of the stars represent the American flag. The 4 stars are touching each other in the blue parts of the flag in order to symbolize the unity of the people of the United States. The National Flag of Honor and the National Flag of Heroes were created by John McElharty for 3 main reasons. 1. To immortalize the individual victims that were killed in the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001. Quote. 2. To give comfort to the families left behind knowing that the loved one will be forever honored and remembered. Quote. 2. To create an enduring symbol, recognized by the world, of the human sacrifice that occurred on September 11, 2001. Quote. The flag of honor and the flag of heroes are based on the American flag. They both have the names of all the innocent people who were killed in the September 11th attacks, printed on the red and white stripes of the American flag. Both flags have a white space across the bottom with the name of the flag and a description printed in black. The flag of honor reads, "This flag contains the names of those killed in the terrorist attacks of September 11th. Now and forever it will represent their immortality. We shall never forget them." The flag of heroes reads, quote, "This flag contains the names of the emergency service personnel who gave their lives to save others in the terrorist attacks of September 11th. Now and forever it will represent their immortality. We shall never forget them." Quote. The flag of honor and the flag of heroes were featured at the NYC 9/11 Memorial Field 5th anniversary in Manhattan's Inwood Hill Park September 8–12, 2006. There are 3,000 flags which represented those who died in the September 11th attacks. The flags were also featured on the MSNBC Today Show and on ABC 13 News. Norfolk, VA. The Remembrance flag has a white background with large black Roman numerals IX-11 in the center and 4 black stars across the top. The IX-11 are the Roman numerals for 9/11. The 4 stars represent World Trade Center North, World Trade Center South, the Pentagon, and Shanksville, PA. The 10th anniversary September 11th memorial flag was designed by Carrot Top Industries, a privately owned company in Hillsborough, NC. The exclusive 9/11 memorial flag was designed with the two World Trade Towers set inside a pentagon decorated with a ribbon to commemorate all of the Americans that lost their lives on September 11, 2001. Virtual memorials. The growing popularity of virtual worlds such as Second Life has led to the construction of permanent virtual memorials and exhibits. Examples include Celestial Requiem, NYC. Second Life is a virtual recreation of a submitted physical memorial proposal. On September 11, 2007, a virtual reality World Trade Center memorial will be presented to the people of the world. The location is in Second Life, on the island we have named after the original design, Celestial Requiem, NYC. We have built this memorial because, to be blunt, the world needed it done years ago, and the 2 years longer to await the completion of the Reflected Absence Memorial in New York City, by Michael Irad and Peter Walker, was in our opinion 2 years too long. World Trade Center Memorial, Second Life, is focused on the victims of 9/11, reminiscent of the memorial wall of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Planned September 11 memorials. Palm Harbor 9/11 Memorial, Palm Harbor, Florida. This memorial broke ground on March 30, 2012. It will be designed around a 150-pound piece of World Trade Center steel provided and still owned by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Picture gallery. See also 9/11 Tribute Center, Flight 93 National Memorial, National September 11 Memorial and Museum, Pentagon Memorial, World Trade Center Site Memorial Competition. Project 2996, a grassroots effort by bloggers to remember the victims on the 5th anniversary of the attacks. September 11 Memorial Tattoos in the Staten Island Historical Society Online Collections Database. 9/11 Museum Design unveiled. New York Times article addressing 2012 Memorial Museum Complex. National September 11 Memorial or Museum. Permanent Memorial or Museum at the World Trade Center site. 9/11 Garden of Reflection. NYC Memorials and Monuments, a growing collection of photographs of NYC 9/11 memorials and monuments. 9/11 Living Memorial Plaza Dedication Ceremony, video and information about the 9/11 Living Memorial Plaza Dedication Ceremony in Jerusalem, Israel, on November 12, 2009.